Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here on a Friday morning. Everybody ready to go home, so appreciate your interest. My name is Enrique Sagesse. I'm a program manager with the Azure Information Protection Group, part of the engineering team that builds the products. I'm a customer experience lead, which means that I'm part of the part of the group that works with customers to help them understand our products and also help our developers understand our customers, their needs, and works towards a better product. So today I'm going to be talking about best practices and common practices and experiences for deploying Azure Information Protection. While today we're talking about Microsoft Information Protection, and lots of people are going to be deploying information protection through the built-in tools in Office. The patterns that I'm going to be discussing apply 100% to the built-in Microsoft Information Protection solution in Office as much as it did in Azure Information Protection. When you deploy Microsoft Information Protection solutions, there is a right way to do it and a ton of wrong ways to do it. And we've been working in this space for quite a while. I've been in this space for well over a decade. And we've seen a lot of failed deployments, failed experiences, and especially ineffective deployments, things that do not achieve the stated goals. When you deploy an information protection solution, you're talking about doing multiple things. In particular, you want to be able to understand the data in your environment. You want to discover all the sensitive data that's across cloud, on-premises devices, etc. You want to be able to identify that data and bucketize it. Say, I want to classify my data, label it, specify different types of treatments for the data. You want to protect it. In particular, protect it from leakage, misuse, abuse, by applying protection such as encryption, access controls, usage rights, DLP and flow controls, etc. And you want to monitor that information across the whole ecosystem. All that is done through the tools that we provide in the Microsoft Information Protection stack. And in fact, Azure Information Protection as a product provides all these 4 pillars, and it all works across devices, cloud, and on-premises solutions. So you want to deploy all these. And how do customers go about doing that? In general, in the wrong way. We've seen this a lot. There is a tendency to see such a big, complex product and say, OK, let's do it. And they take all the tools, all the systems, all the features available, and they say, I need all these to protect me. And they start an evaluation, which might take maybe years, because there is a lot to go through. The encryption technology, the key management solutions, the labeling taxonomy, the integration with third-party systems, the data flows, the integration with OME, external email, internal email, protection of documents, CAD systems, integration with DLP. There are a million things you can do here. And some companies start by saying, I'm going to analyze everything, design the right solution, and then deploy it without realizing that that will take a long, long time. Sometimes companies spend 3, 4, 5 months evaluating just the key management solution alone, because they need to get buy-in from policy, compliance, governance. They need to go through legal. They go over all the platforms, all the document types. They analyze all the traffic flows, things like that, which are really not critical to start protecting your stuff. For example, many companies say, no, until I can protect CAD drawings, I'm not going to start protecting documents. Or until I can protect PDFs, I'm not going to start protecting emails. And that makes no sense. I mean, unless you're replacing something that's already protecting you, it makes no sense to remain unprotected for that time. As one example, we had this large company, a services firm, that wanted to deploy AAP end-to-end. Their heart was in the right place. They wanted to do the right thing. And they started an evaluation end-to-end across all their subsidiaries with all their people, which went over several years. They did all those evaluations and planning without moving one bit, without enabling the service, nothing. I mean, they set up some test environments, but nothing in productions. After the first year of evaluation, they had a very big data leakage incident due to misplaced data. Somebody had put millions of sensitive documents in an open container. so everybody in the world could grab it. And that would have been very easily prevented if they had enabled the most basic functionality, which they could have running after just a few days. They had a significant data loss when they had the tools to prevent that, just because they were not going to hit enable until the last day when they had everything analyzed. So that was really bad. Obviously, they changed their process, but they still have the ambitious goal of enabling everything at the last day. So that's not good. Another scenario is, okay, let's deploy, let's do it quickly, then let's not overanalyze it, but let's tighten the bolts as much as we can on day one. So we had this experience with a large media company. They say, okay, everything that's confidential should be tightly protected and encrypted. So they defined a policy, they enable encryption. They weren't super ambitious with the scope. Essentially, they said, let's protect what we can protect in the tightest way possible, and everything else is completely unprotected, because when you do super severe protection, you are making a trade-off, and you're saying, well, there's a lot of stuff that we're not going to be able to protect. For example, they were dividing something, it was not the name they used, but they had something like confidential, in which you can view and edit the data. And then top secret, which was only for executives. That means that anything that you really have to copy, share, circulate around, forward within the company, forward to partners, work with customers, that must be unprotected. Especially since they chose to use the hold your own key topology, which is a very restrictive key management topology, which means that you cannot integrate the data with the cloud. So all cloud services, including SharePoint or DLP or eDiscovery, all those are completely unable to work with this data. You cannot share data externally. It only works with some devices, etc. So the result is that only a tiny percentage of their sensitive data was protected. So they did deploy the solution relatively rapidly. It took them 6 months, which is really not that rapidly, but for a whole year on key deployment, that's actually record-breaking. But within 1 year, they got hacked. It was a major hack. Intruders in their network. They found some content repositories. They just grabbed them and ran with them. The sad thing, well, the good thing is that the data that was protected was safe. There are logs that say that they tried to keep opening this data. They were never able to crack those documents, so that's fine. But 99.7%, according to the measurements that were made, 99% of the data that in those repositories was unprotected. It's difficult to say how much of that was sensitive or confidential, but a lot, for sure. If they had been a little bit more relaxed in the terms of the security, in fact, if they had said everybody gets full control, that would still have been way better than what they had. Not good either. So, the final example of a bad pattern is deploy just pushed by regulations. And that's common because regulations are a key driver for this. So some companies say, I'm going to implement whatever I need to meet with this regulation. And in this example, this was an industrial firm that was in a country that has specific regulations about key management. Now, the way they saw those rules is, oh, I cannot use a key that's outside of my environment. What those regulations actually said is that for specific types of data, in specific types of business, you must encrypt, and you must encrypt with a key in your environment, or in your country, in this country. The regulations didn't say anything about other types of data that may be confidential. In particular, they didn't say, if you encrypt, the key must be in your country. And that's reasonable because it will make no sense to say, I'd rather have clear text than encrypted with a secure key that's not in the country. In fact, we don't know of any law that's broadly applicable that says that. In some countries, there are some laws like that for specific types of data, especially government-associated data. They don't want the government-associated data be encrypted with a key in another country. But that's very rare, and definitely doesn't apply to the vast majority of scenarios. So in this case, they decided to implement hold your own key and only hold your own key for the encrypted data, which means that they will not able to encrypt anything else. Only the data that was suitable for the most aggressive type of key management that breaks the cloud, breaks other services, doesn't support external collaboration, all that, they could not protect any of that. Through the period in which they implemented and afterwards, they discovered quite a few instances of small-scale data leakage. Critical, important, relatively small scale. Now, since they don't have the tools to monitor data leakage, because 99-point-something% of the data is not encrypted or protected at all, then there's probably much bigger instances of data leakage going on that they simply are not aware of. That means that by choosing to protect only what the regulations said that must be protected, they left everything else unprotected. That's, again, not a good pattern. Those that were in yesterday's session or Wednesday's session about deployment of AIP know what I'm going to be proposing now. This is what we suggest as the right approach to deploy AIP or MIP, crawl, walk, run. And one example was this tech firm in the US. They get a new CISO, and the CISO gets mandated to solve the data leakage problem. They were already licensed for AIP, and he asked the right question. What can be done quickly? Where can we get the biggest bang for the buck? And they deploy the AIP client to endpoints. They configure MCAS and the AIP scanner to discover all sensitive data in their endpoints, on the file servers and in the cloud. And within a few weeks, they already had identified high-risk data in low-security file servers and third-party cloud services. Immediately, they basically lock those down. Then they figure out what to do with the data. But within days, they were already accruing benefits. Then they implemented third-party DLP rules. I mean, we'd rather have them using Microsoft Office 365 DLP, but their DLP was already working, and it was integrated with AIP. It supported AIP. So they implemented rules to say things such as, if you see, let's make something up, 500 social security numbers, then you block that. If you see between 1 and 499, block it unless it's labeled as specifically authorized for external use. And that kind of rule that leverages labels, leverages the user action, pops up to the user notification if they're doing something wrong, that kind of thing. And after a couple months of no new incidents, things were going smoothly, panic had subsided, they were saying, okay, we're in a good spot, let's keep rolling. And they started adding encryption in their policies, protection restrictions, slowly and as they were able to do. They didn't wait, they didn't procrastinate, they didn't go for the big bang. They said, okay, let's do in small chunks what we can do, and let's get protection rapidly. The interesting thing is that the things that implemented first cover, according to our analysis, close to 60% of the data leakage incidents that we most commonly see for documents and emails. So you massively reduce your exposure just by doing this in a couple of weeks. Then by adding these, probably they reduce another significant chunk. And then by adding encryption, and they probably will end up doing the most strict controls at some point. But by then, by the time they introduce that, they will be dealing with maybe the 1% of the risk of leakage. Everything else will be addressed by then. So that's the way to do it. Go in phases and do not try to analyze the whole impact. Make a plan that includes all the steps. Make a plan that covers all the capabilities, but do not wait until you have everything planned to start deploying. So we already discussed this in other sessions. So this is generally the process. During the crawl phase, you organize your information, you map it, you label, but you don't apply things like encryption, access controls, unless there is some urgent need in some specific scenario, which you do in parallel. But in general, you start by labeling, you start by understanding, and you start by inventorying. In the walk phase, which comes a little bit later, you protect the information against the most common threats by applying relatively relaxed encryption policies and some additional DLP controls. And then at the end, everything else, you go about implementing the most strict controls. The way to do this is to analyze what are your concerns, what are the risks. And if you look at the list of data leakage events, they usually fall into one of these categories. There are a few others which might be specific to your business. For example, users accidentally forwarding an email or document. That's the most common error. That's the most common thing. And it sounds quite minor, but I know of a case where a company lost $3 billion because of one email that basically destroyed a whole M&A plan. Users copying sensitive data because they say, I'm going to basically make a copy of all the sensitive data. If I get fired, I can make money out of that, or I can find a good job because that information is valuable. Organizations not knowing what they do, like leaving some storage open. Users sharing improperly, not maliciously, but negligently, like, my friend will love to know that, I trust him, and then they is out. They know that what they're doing is not correct, but they are just bending the rules to make somebody happy or to make their jobs easier. Theft, like actual hacking compromise, that's still a concern. It's rare, but important. Loss of devices. An unencrypted USB drive, an unencrypted laptop or phone with sensitive data in it gets lost, the data is lost. Partners mishandling the data. I share something with them, they share it with somebody else. If we look at these different types of incidents, and we look at the tools at our disposal when we introduce something like Azure Information Protection, visible labeling and user notifications, visual content markings, sensitive data discovery, encryption, alerts, advanced key management, restricted usage rights, and there are a few other things, and you check which ones are addressed, you'll see that there is a mix of capabilities. It's not like there is one feature to rule them all. What we see in particular is when we look at how easy and how quickly this can be deployed, these 4 are easy to deploy. These you can do in weeks. As soon as you can define a label taxonomy that works for your business, you can start with all these. Then, encryption access control is a little bit harder to deploy. You need to go through compliance, you need to provision the keys, maybe buy a hardware security module in some cases. You need to integrate with systems that might break if you just start encrypting stuff in bulk. And then, advanced key management, unrestricted usage rights, they typically require a lot of thought because there is a potential for breaking things, there is a potential for having to deploy complex infrastructure. But if you look at your risks, by just implementing these 4, you're gaining a lot across the board. It doesn't address all the possible instances of these types of leakage, but it gives you a lot of coverage. So with these, you should be able to cover most incidents. At the very least, detect them. Then, with encryption access controls and alerts, you gain more, and then with this, you gain more. It's all about coverage, but just implementing these gets you a lot. So, how do you deploy? You start with a crawl phase. Can be done typically in a few weeks. You have to define labels. That's the hardest part, like creating a label taxonomy that makes sense to your business, that addresses your scenarios. It's better to think it through, to plan it properly. Deploy the API client to implement those policies. That is hard, like deploying any software. Like if you have 10,000 devices, pushing software to 10,000 devices is a job. The good thing is that with built-in sensitive labels in Office Pro Plus, that might no longer be necessary in the near future. I mean, we ship this week, but probably are not all running out the minute we ship some bits. But as soon as you're in that version of Office, you should be able to avoid deploying the API client, at least for protecting Office documents. Then, deploying the API scanner, you can deploy it in discovery mode to start mapping your file servers and SharePoint on-premises and discovering what's out there. There is a nice interplay between the client and the scanner because the client will tell you which things you are missing when scanning. Like, you don't know about this file server, but I found it because the users are saving files there. So this helps you discover all your data and your Shout IT. Enable the API analytics. You do that from the portal. It's easy to do. There is built-in storage, so you don't have to pay for storage just for starting gathering analytics data in the initial phases. And that will show you everything that was discovered by these agents. Then you can create DLP rules to start blocking some specific types of instances. Doing it based on labels is easy. I mean, doing DLP is hard in general because you are dealing with false positives, things like that. But if a user told you this is highly confidential, the probability that it has to be shared with a random person on the internet is low. So DLP can be deployed at this phase at that level, and then do a user awareness campaign so they know how to deal with sensitive data. In the crawl phase, you gain awareness of your data, manual labeling informs your users, and you can prevent some types of leakage thanks to simple DLP rules and user information pop-ups. In the walk phase, it's a little bit longer. You introduce encryption, but not restricted access controls. You say, just prevent the bad guys from getting the data. It's encrypted, it has access controls. You are not saying do not copy, do not print. In general, you're just providing basic protection against malicious users. You configure automatic recommendations, such as, it looks like this is sensitive because it contains credit card numbers. I suggest that you label it, but you're not intruding with the user. You're not automatically doing any of that. You start automatically labeling with the scanner in some locations, and in folders that contain particularly sensitive information. You become a little bit more aggressive, and you start doing bulk auto-classification based on content. You can do the same thing in the cloud via MCAS and Office 365 DLP. Microsoft Cloud App Security and Office 365 DLP do the same thing for the cloud that the AIP scanner does for on-premises repositories. You start adding content markings like headers, footers, watermarks, things like that inform your users. And with that, you have your data clearly identified. You have your information protected from accidental loss or theft. Users are helped in classifying content by those automatic or recommended rules, and data at rest is automatically classified in bulk. Finally, in the run phase, and we're 1 minute over time already, that takes longer to deploy because you're going to analyze if compliance requirements say that you have to use more advanced key encryption for some types of data, key management, such as hold your own key, bring your own key, things like that. You can tighten the protection policies to remove rights that are not needed for certain classes of data. So for example, top secret, yeah, you don't need to copy that, or at least the majority of people don't. Maybe people in this group or in this organization, yes. The nice thing is that you can make those decisions based on what you see in your logs. You already gather information about what your users are doing with their data, so you can figure out what happens if I restrict this in this way. And you can do what-if analysis and figure out what will be the impact. You can create departmental labels, like the project X, project Y, and containerize your data that way. You can integrate with third-party systems, like SAP, CAD systems, archival systems, all those things that you need to work. In the previous stage, it would be good if they were integrated, but since users have full control over the data, and the data that was encrypted was the relatively small amount of top secret data, is not a big issue. At this stage, you want to make sure that all your systems work with protected data. So as a result of this phase, more protection across more data. Users are restricted from performing the undesired actions, such as copying data, things like that. The top secret data is tightly protected. You can containerize your data to prevent proliferation, like Project X doesn't go anywhere other than within the Project X department. And third-party systems can generate protected data directly. So with this approach, you start accruing value on day one. You don't have to wait a year or two and have the exposure during that period while you overthink things. And you can show those benefits. Like, very rapidly, you get reports that tell you, here's my data. Like, go tomorrow to your CISO and say, here's everything we have, and here's where it is, and here is what's our plan to address these gaps. Then you can fine-tune your design and your policies based on real-world data. You already mapped your environment. You already have an inventory of every single document and even in your company, and you can say, this is the impact of any of these future actions. You can take your time to make critical decisions, such as key management or things like that, because you're already providing a level of protection at that stage. You don't have to delay your implementation to buy hardware. You can implement AIP with zero investment on the on-premises front, just deploy the client. Later on, you may want to buy a hardware security module or things like that. You can do that later. Integration tests like third-party systems can be started initially, but you don't need to complete them before implementing the first steps, because implementing labeling doesn't break anything. The only chance of breaking anything is when you introduce encryption and access controls and that kind of thing. So you can do them in parallel with your rollout. And if you identify gaps during your testing, you can come to us and say, hey, the product doesn't do this. What can we do about that? And maybe there is a way to do it. Maybe we can work on that feature. Maybe we can find a third party to do that. If you normally there are no gaps in the basic functionality at this point. It's when you get into advanced territory that you find those gaps. So you have time to fix them. You don't have to stall your project because some system doesn't support encryption if you're not doing encryption at that stage. So with that, we recommend that you start today, that you make a plan, end-to-end plan, of what you're going to deploy and when, but don't overanalyze it. Just start with step one immediately. It won't break anything, and you will be able to, in parallel, test, plan, and implement the more advanced functionality. Once you start deploying, show your results, say, hey, look at this. We have a good map of our environment. We understand the risks. These are the next steps. And you get buy-in, and you can move to the next steps without delaying the introduction of the first levels of controls. If you need more information, please go to aka.ms/infoprotection. And, well, the conference is already kind of closing, but you can see more details about this approach and about the technologies available in Microsoft Information Protection Stack in any of these sessions. They're all recorded, and we went a little bit deeper into the process and how to implement this crawl, walk, run approach in a lot more detail. So I'm going to be here if you have any questions, and thanks for coming. And safe travels.